Hello guys, this is question 4.52 and the statement of this question is random variables x and y follow a joint distribution which is given by this formula according to which fx of y is equal to 0 for the ranges which are given here. Okay, so these are basically the ranges of x and y and 0 otherwise. Okay, so on the basis of this joint distribution formula we have to determine the correlation coefficient between x and y. Okay, so what is this? This is basically the statement of the question, and in order to find the correlation coefficient, we have previously seen that the formula for the correlation coefficient is, let me write it here, this is equal to E of xy minus E of x E of y whole divided by the square root of the variance of x multiplied by the variance of y. Okay, so this is the formula we have to use here, and here we can very clearly see that these terms, which is here, here and here, okay, these terms are unknown. So first of all we have to find out these terms. Let me first find out the value of e xy. Okay, so in order to find it out, we can very clearly see here that we have here these x and y. Okay, so we have to take the double integral, and in order to write the double integral here, we have to, is as this is the expected value, we have to write the values of x and y, and with it I have to multiply xy. Okay, so the first integral here would be of d of x, and the second one here would be of d of y. Okay, so in order to find it out, this will be the integral for x. Okay, and after it, after when we will find it out, we will have to find out the overall integral. So let me write out the values of these integrals. So let me write it out. This is for x. Okay, and the ranges for x are what? This range for x is from 0 to y. So the lower range here is 0, the upper range is y. Okay, similarly for y, what are the ranges? We can see that these are the ranges from 0 to 1, so it would be from 0 to 1 because these are basically the higher ranges, and within this limit the overall joint distribution function lies. Okay, so therefore the higher limit basically lies from the higher limits. Okay, so higher integral is within the higher limits. So let me find it out. It would be 0 to 1. Okay, and here x y 0 to y, sorry, let me write it again, and here 0 to y x y, and the value of f of x y is 2. Okay, so multiplied by 2 d of x, and with it d of y. So here it would be 0 to 1. Okay, 2 would be the common here, and here it would be from 0 to y x y d of x. Okay, d of y, and also here let me move down somehow. Here it would be from 0 to 1. Here y will also be the constant because it is the integration with respect to x. So 2y 0 to y x dx, here it would be here dy, and 0 to 1 2y, this would become x square divided by 2 from 0 to y. Okay, and dy. Here you can see that this 2 will be cancelled out with this one. Let me move down somehow as well. Okay, so here we would get what? Putting these limits here, what I will get, it would be from 0 to 1. Putting it here, we will get y into y square dy which will be ultimately 0 to 1 y cube dy, okay, which will be y4 divided by 4, 0 to 1, and ultimately it will be what? It will be 1 by 4. So the value of exy is 1 by 4. Okay, so let me highlight it. This would be 1 by 4. Let me move to the other values here. So the other values here, this one is known. Now let me move to the other values which are here, e of x, e of y. Okay, so let me find out the value of e of x. So the value of e of x is for what? It will be for x, g of x, okay, d of x. Okay, so the values of e of x would be what? These must be the limits here, but here you have to keep in your mind that this g of x is basically the marginal distribution, which we don't know. Okay, so in order to find the value of g of x, what do we have to do? Let me write them here. So g of x would be the integral of what? It will be the integral of x of y, okay, with respect to what? With respect to why? Why? Because this is the marginal distribution for x, and all the values of x will remain the same while the values of y will change, as we have seen in our questions related to what? Related to the tabular forms. Okay, so this is what we will have. Also, we can see from here that the ranges of y are from what? These are from x to 1. So therefore, here it would be x to 1. Okay, so let me write these values of them. So here fx of y, the value of it is 2. So let me write it here, x1 2 dy. Okay, or here let me take it outside because this is a constant, xy dy, which will ultimately give me 2y x1. Okay, so let me move down somehow, and here it would become 2 1 minus x. Okay, so this is what? This is for g of x. So this is the value of g of x which we have found out. In order to find the value of e of x now, we have to put it here. Okay, so let me put it here and see that what will be the answer. So in order to put it here, we will get what? The expected value of x would become what? Integral from x multiplied by 2 1 minus x with respect to d of x. Okay, so in order to write the limits here, what do we have to do? Here we can see that the overall limit for the functions here are from 0 to 1. So therefore x will be from 0 to 1. Okay, so finding them out here, it would be from 0 to 1. Okay, so let me write them here. It will be 2 outside, and also inside of it we will have x multiplied by 1 minus x and d of x. Okay, so let me calculate it, and here it would become 2 integral of 0 to 1 x dx minus 0 to 1 x square d of x. Okay, so now finding it out, it would become 2, here it would be x square divided by 2, 0 to 1 minus x cube divided by 3, 0 to 1. Okay, so ultimately the expected value of x, what would we get, would be 1 by 3. Okay, so that is what? That is for the expected value of x. Now let us move to find the other values here, and here it is expected value of y. In order to find it out, what do we have to do? Let me separate it out here. So the expected value of y here would be what? Here it would be the integral from 0 to 1 because this is the overall value here, okay, and that is the averaging. And also here y and h of y dy. What is this? This is basically the, what is this? This is again basically the marginal distribution which we don't know here. So let me first find out the value of h of y. So here it is again for x, y, while here the integration will be in terms of x, okay, because of the same reason I have previously described, okay. And now let us write the limits for x. So we can very clearly see that the limits of x are from 0 to y. So therefore, it would be from 0 to y. Let me write them here. So this is fx of y. So this is 2. Let me put it out of here. It would be from 0 to y d of x. Okay, 2 multiplied by x, 0 to y, okay, so ultimately it would be 2y. So the value of h of y is 2y, and this is what, this is the marginal distribution. Let me take it and put it here. So putting it here and solving it, what would I get? Okay, here I would get e of y, writing the limit 0 to 1, okay, y into 2y and dy, okay. So 2 and 0 to 1 y square d of y, it would be 2 multiplied by y cube divided by 3, okay. So it would be from 0 to 1. So ultimately we would get what? The answer of it would be 2 by 3, and it is the expected value of y. We have found out the expected value of x, expected value of y, and all those values. Similarly, the remaining values here are variance of x and variance of y. In previous questions, we have clearly seen the formula for finding the variance, and this was what? This was basically the expected value of x square minus expected value of x whole square. Okay. Similarly, for the variance of y, it would be what? It would be the expected value of y square minus the expected value of y whole square, okay. So once you will calculate them, what would you get? The answer of them would be what? It would be 1 over 18, and it would be 1 over 18 as well. Why? Because you have to calculate the value of e of x square. The same will be followed here, okay, as we have done here. Just we have to use what here in order to find the square term. What would we have? Let me use this color for it. If you want to do this one, you have to square it, square it, square it. You would get here e of x square equal to 1 by 6, and also for e of y square some value, okay. You have to put those values here because you already know the expected value of x, expected value of y, and from them you would get these values, okay. Taking these values, as you know that all these values are now given, putting them all there. So let me put them all there. So putting all these values here, the correlation coefficient will become what? Ex of y is what? That is 1 by 4 minus e of x is 1 by 3, e of y is 2 by 3, whole divided by the square root of 1 by 18 multiplied by 1 by 18, okay. Solving them, so ultimately you will get what? You will get 1 by 2. Okay, so that is what, that is the correlation coefficient which we wanted to find out. Okay, so I hope you have understood all the underlying steps which we have taken here. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment box. See you soon.